It's time for a story, The Stairs Up to There.
There once was a little boy who lived in a house at the bottom of a huge hill. Leading up to the top of the hill were countless stone steps. Each step was almost 1 foot tall and 1 foot deep. One day, the boy decided to climb the steps. He was small and had to climb slowly, by placing his hands on the step before him, hoisting himself up, then putting a shaky foot on the step he wanted to conquer. The little boy climbed 20 steps this way before he became frightened of the height, turned around, and sat with his feet dangling, looking down at all the steps he had traveled. As soon as he sat down, a boy twice his age and twice as tall came bounding up the steps. He raced past the little boy, and as he passed called out, "Come on, there's nothing to be afraid of." The little boy turned back around and began again to climb. He climbed twice as many steps as he had the first time, before his legs grew tired and his height on the steps once more covered him in fear. He turned himself around, sat his bottom on the last step he stood upon, and let his feet hang loosely. As soon as he was seated, a handsome young man and a pretty young girl came running up the steps holding hands. "Come with us," the couple called out happily as they passed by, almost flying. "There's nothing to be afraid of." The little boy stood, turned himself around, and began once more to climb the stairs, one slow step at a time. He climbed for what seemed like the longest time, placing 2 hands on each step above, then lifting his tiny frame, sometimes with just a knee, to the next highest step. His hands and knees were scraped and bruised. When wearily he turned, sat, and looked down at all the steps he had just climbed. In the distance below, he saw a grown man bounding towards him, taking the tall steps 2 at a time. Amazingly, the man was carrying on his back a small boy, almost as big as he himself was. The carried boy's face was filled with happiness as his father effortlessly climbed the stairs. The little boy turned his head upward as the 2 passed quickly. "Come with us, you're almost there," the boy being carried called out. "There's nothing to be afraid of." This time the little boy was encouraged, for when he rose to climb again, he could see the end of the stairs and the sky at the top of the hill. He climbed and kept climbing, forgetting about his scrapes and bruises. He climbed step after step, not once looking back below. On one of the steps, he passed an older man who was resting before continuing. "Keep going," the older man said. "There are just a dozen steps more." The little boy needed no further encouragement. He hopped like a rabbit up the last 12 steps and stood at the top of the huge hill, looking away from the steps forward to a beautiful orange sunset. Between the little boy and the orange sky was a wooden bench, and on that bench sat a very old man who appeared to be asleep. "I made it!" the little boy said brightly aloud. The old man heard the boy, woke up, and spoke. "Oh, you're here. I've been waiting for you." "For me?" the little boy asked. "Have you been waiting a long time?" The old man rose from the bench as he answered. "It wasn't that long. The time passed quickly." The little boy then took the old man's hand and led him towards the sunset. "Where are we going?" asked the old man. "Come with me," said the little boy. "There's nothing to be afraid of." You can buy this book, The Stairs Up to There, on Amazon.com today.